So something happened to me recently that was really jarring and uncomfortable. And I know this video is not my normal type of video, I guess, but I felt like compelled to talk about this because it's affecting, I think, everybody, especially musicians. And so I want to talk about AI music. Essentially what happened was my mom sat me down and she was like, hey, so I wanted to do something special for your dad. And basically I made him a song. I was like, you're not a singer or a musician at all. Like, I'm the only one in the family. Like, how did you make this song? And she was like, let me just show you. And I immediately was like, oh wait, she made an AI song for my dad. So she plays the song for me and I'm sitting there listening to it and she turns it off early because she can just tell that my reaction wasn't exactly what I think she wanted, you know? This was not some like robot static, you know, song that like sounded awful or like it was made in like a microwave or a toaster. You know, like this song sounded good. Like it genuinely sounded good. I would argue, aside from like little things that you would only notice if you were like a musician, like this song was basically radio ready. She was able to control so many aspects of the song. She chose the genre and made sure that the vibe of the song matches his, like the type of music that he typically likes to listen to. She was able to choose like whether the voice was male or female. Of course she chose female because it's like her song to him. She got to make it like as quirky or whatever as she wanted. And the song, like the lyrics were basically like, she wrote it about the relationship. Like it was basically their love story in a song. And the kicker was the song was his name. Like the title of the song was named after him. And when she played it for him, he loved it. Like he was obsessed with it. He was like still on a high from that song for days after. I don't think most people ever expect to have a song made like for them or with them in mind. But then on top of that, for that song to be titled Your Name, like it's just like, it's a different level of special that I don't think the average person ever gets the opportunity to feel. I don't think I've felt that conflicted emotionally in a long time. Because on one hand, I'm looking at my parents, I'm looking at the excitement and the happiness in their eyes, and I'm like, this is like incredibly sweet. They have something that they can cherish forever. This will live on forever. These are lyrics. This is their life. This is their love story, you know? But then on the other hand, I was like, this is the definition of AI slop. Like the person that is singing sounds incredible, but it's not a real person. There was no like emotion put into this aside from like what my mother gave this, you know, AI chatbot or whatever. And like the traditionalist part of me was just like, this is music, but it doesn't feel like music. But then does it even matter? Because no one's gonna listen to this besides them. So I couldn't say any of that, but I definitely felt it. And the thing is, it's like my mother does not know a bunch of musicians. She knows one. She knows me, right? And in theory, she could have asked me to make the song. But if we just like take a second to think about that, that would be so weird, right? It would be a little weird for a mother to ask her son to make a love song about his parents. I love my parents, you know, but I don't know that I need to be in the room for that. Like I love this for them. Like have your moment. This is your moment. Like have it, you know, but I think I'll be over here. And even if she did ask me to write it and I kind of got over my, you know, weirdness about it, like it still would have probably taken me like weeks minimum to write the song, produce the song, record vocals on the song, mix it, master it, make it, you know, at least decent enough audio for them to listen to and enjoy. Like it would have taken me weeks. So instead of asking me, she turned to AI, and AI was able to give her something that she basically could not have gotten any other way. So it's like, what was I supposed to say? I have all these conflicting emotions, but like I don't know how to express them in a way that doesn't, you know, ruin this experience for them, but also acknowledges my reservations about it. It was a tough moment for me. If a song makes you feel something, does it really matter that no one felt anything while making it? So today we're talking about AI music, and I want to have a conversation that is not just like AI music is taking over the industry or it's replacing artists. Like I feel like that is a valid conversation, but it's a conversation that I personally feel like has been had like ad nauseum. Like we've talked about that enough. What I actually want to get into is what happens when AI music becomes so good that people stop caring about how the song is made? And what does the music industry do with that permission? Because those are two things that I don't think we really fully sat with yet. Hello, if you are new here, my name is Cedric and I talk about pop music and pop culture. And to get started, if I'm posting this video when I am planning to post this video, today is my birthday. My family and friends threw a surprise party for me day before yesterday, which was incredible. If you want to get me anything, subscribe. That's all I need. I love you. Thank you for being here. So I want to be honest with you up front. I am not coming into this conversation as someone who has never used AI and like pretends to be above it. I've used Suno, which is basically another just AI app where you can put in your own songs and it spits out like a higher quality AI version of your song. And to be frank, like the first time that I used it, I cried. Like I was bawling, and I know that makes me sound like, you know, weak or like a simp, and I gotta man up or whatever. But I was boohooing, and not because like the AI moved me spiritually. I don't want to give it that much credit. It's just like I cried because I've been putting off making original music for a little over a decade, which is embarrassing, but it is my truth. I've written so many songs over the years. Some are finished, some are like half finished, and most of them are in my voice memos with the title like idea number 47 or like, you know, Boom Cat idea number 4 or whatever it is, you know? And a lot of my songs have lived in this like weird in-between space for me where like I knew what they could be, right? Like in my head I could hear the vocal arrangements, the harmonies, like the fully produced version of the songs. But there's always been a gap, at least to me, between what I knew my songs could be and what I could feasibly produce on my own in my bedroom. So when I put my songs into Suno and it spit out like these like damn near radio ready versions of these songs that I've been sitting on for a huge chunk of my life, like it messed with me. Like it really messed with me internally. Because part of me was like, oh my God, like this is what my song could sound like. And then the other part of me was like, oh my God, like this is what my song should sound like. That's the whole conflict, and that's why I feel like this conversation is a lot harder than it seems on paper. Now let's go back to my parents for a second, because I do feel like that example is the best one that I have to really illustrate what is going on here. I get why it's so special for them. I truly do understand that. But for me, as someone who has spent most of my life trying to get better at singing, producing, learning instruments, arranging, yada yada yada, like it kind of stung. Because I've spent my entire life up until this point trying to learn something that now a prompt can spit out in seconds. And I know that sounds dramatic, but like it isn't to me. Like it really means something to me. And I can only speak for myself, but I would assume that a lot of people who create things for a living don't just see AI as like just a tool that makes, you know, your life a little easier. It feels like if you're a chef, right? You spend your entire life learning how to cook different meals and whatever, and then all of a sudden this machine shows up out of nowhere and is like, hey, I'm able to, you know, make food for 400 people in seconds. And everyone is clapping because the pasta is like good enough. You know, for a lot of us, like the second you find out a song is an AI, like an AI was used to make the song, there's something inside of you that shifts. Even if you already liked the song and it was like already stuck in your head and you've added it to your playlist, like it's still, something is still different. The second you find out there's no singer, there's no band, no producer, there is no humanity in that song, it starts to feel a little different. It's kind of like, I know I'm using a lot of food metaphors and like my birthday just happened, so that's why it's top of mind, but like, it's like if someone were to bring a cake and be like, oh, this cake is homemade, I made it myself from the ground up, and you go, oh, this is amazing, and then you find out they used a box. Like, I'm still gonna eat the cake. Like, I'm not stupid, you know what I mean? But like, it does feel a little different knowing that it was, you know, made from a box and not like, you know, from raw ingredients. And that's what AI music feels like to me. It's like the song might be catchy, it might work technically, but the moment that I find out that it's AI, there's just, it creates this empty space where I feel like a human story should be. And if you feel that shift too, I believe that is us registering that the process does actually matter to us. Like the how something is made is really the part that we're connecting to. And so the version of this that actually is really scary to me is that we are slowly but surely becoming better and better at recognizing when something is AI. But a good chunk of society is getting to the point where even if they know that it's AI, they don't care. Once people stop caring about how music is made, at that point the door is wide open and anybody can walk through it, including people that are not people. Now, I do think it's important to draw the line between like AI assisted music and fully AI generated music. And I know some people don't want to hear that because to them all AI is bad, but I do think that that distinction is very important. I do believe there are levels to this, right? Like I feel like it's one thing if you have an idea for a song, you write the song, you pull out your guitar, you figure out the chord progression and whatever, you maybe record it into your GarageBand or whatever, and you then use AI to like touch some things up or just to like elevate the quality of certain aspects of the song, versus you going to an AI chatbot or whatever and just typing out, make me a sad pop song that's about heartbreak using a minor chord progression and make it 3.5 minutes long and make the person singing it a female. One is using AI as a tool and the other is just like ordering a burrito from like Chipotle, you know, like, and this is why my experience with Suno got super uncomfortable, because it's like, I did everything. I wrote the song, I figured out the ad-libs and the harmonies, and I basically created the entire song myself. I basically just went to Suno and was like, turn up the producing a bit, you know? So then I had to like sit and ask myself, like, what part of this song is now mine? And what part of this song is now the machine's? And if I'm being frank with you, like, that question pissed me the hell off. And that's what made me realize that I just could not use Suno or any AI assisted app when it comes to my own music. And it's not because I'm like trying to be, you know, morally above, like, I don't use AI, that's for chumps. Like, especially because I've used ChatGPT for little things here and there. I'm not saying that AI, I'm just like an anti-AI person, but like when it comes to music, it's just different. Like, there is just something incredible that you can't really put into words about the feeling of taking something that happened to you, an experience you had, and literally taking it out of yourself and creating this physical manifestation of it. And I want to be able to take that part of myself and stand next to it and say, this is mine. I did this. I was in full control over this, versus like, that's mine, but like the machine did a lot of heavy lifting. And honestly, like the part of this whole thing that really bugs me the most is not the production or like just the songwriting of these AI songs. It's the voice. It really is the voice. Because to me, and it's always been this way, like the voice is the human fingerprint of the song. Like you can have a beautiful instrumental song playing, you know, in the background at Starbucks or whatever, but like the moment that the voice comes in, something changes. Now there's a person involved, there's a human being involved, and you don't have to know that person's name or their whole like life story to connect with it. It's just now the song feels inhabited. And that's why I have a hard time when it comes to AI vocals on a song, because it's like, yeah, it probably sounds pretty, the melody is nice, you know, they hit that riff better than anybody you've ever heard, but like, who are we connecting to? Like, the voice is basically just like a machine smoothie of thousands of different voices it's using to, you know, to create this. Like, it's hard to explain. All I can say is that it's creepy and I don't like it. The voice is not just a sound. Like, the voice comes from a human. It comes from the body. Like, not only does it physically come out of your body, like it is literally part of your humanity, but oftentimes the emotion that you portray when it, like with your voice, comes from your life. It comes from your past experiences and how you are incorporating those into this current moment, performance, song, whatever. The average listener really only cares if a song sounds good, right? AI music doesn't have to beat the best artist and be the best music. It just has to be good enough. And streaming has already pushed people in that direction. Like, nowadays, most people just care about the vibes, right? What vibe is the music providing for my current moment? They don't care about the artist or like the backstory. And when the job of a song is just to fill space, AI excels at that. That doesn't then make it good art, but it still gets the job done. And part of the reason why all this is top of mind for me is that like I said, I'm working on an EP, and I cannot help but wonder if hopefully, you know, a song or two of mine gets put on someone else's playlist. Does that song now live right next to a song that was fully AI generated? To the point that I wonder, like, the person who put on my song while they're on the treadmill, are they going to care about what I'm writing about? Are they going to care about my backstory? Especially because the next song is just another singer telling a story that doesn't really matter, you know? The only thought that listener will have is, does it fit the vibe? If it doesn't, I'm skipping it. And that's not their fault. I don't mean to shit on a person who has that experience. It's just the reality of what music has become for a lot of people. But as an artist, like it really messes with me, because at least my goal is not to make something that acts as like background music. It really means something to me. And the fact that it's going to be most likely put in playlists alongside AI songs that were generated with a prompt in, you know, 30 seconds or whatever, it's just a weird feeling to sit with. And I know there's somebody out there who's gonna be like, just get over it. Like, you know, it is what it is. And it's like, yeah, I know that it is what it is, but I still want to acknowledge that it sucks. Especially because this is where I really think that musicians are going to be hurt first. And I don't necessarily mean like the big, huge artists. I don't think they're getting replaced by AI anytime soon. But like background singers, session singers, producers, songwriters, like these are people who have always been the backbone of music, but they are slowly but surely becoming more and more replaceable. Like, why would a label or a producer pay a human to come in and lay down vocals for a demo to give to a different artist when they could literally pay, what is it, 15 bucks a month or 30 bucks a month or whatever, to just have an AI voice and then shop it around that way? If a company can generate something that is close enough, it's cheaper, and it's faster, they're gonna choose cheaper and faster every single time. They always do. When regular people, like my parents, use AI to make, you know, songs that speak to parts of their lives or whatever, like, I don't love it, but I get it. I understand the appeal, and that, you know, it is what it is. But when executives and labels start getting excited about AI music and AI artists, that's where the conversation gets so much more, like, insidious. Because now the conversation is not really about creativity. I mean, it never fully has been about creativity, but now that is being pulled back more and more because, like, why would you focus on it when you can make things cheap and quick? And what is the best type of artist that a label would just die to have? An artist that was pretty, that had a good enough voice, that could sell a product and doesn't talk back. Like, a human artist has opinions, they have, you know, emotions, a backstory that they want to tell. They have all of these just unprofitable features. Like, they might want royalties. Say it ain't so. They might, you know, want to change direction. They might want to take a break. But an AI artist has none of those. They're not going to have opinions, boundaries, you know, they're not going to have a awful interview that hurts the PR, that hurts the upcoming single or album. No, you know, creative disagreements or whatever. All it is content. And I truly feel like that should scare people. Because the music industry has always been an industry that treats artists like products. But AI just gives them a product that never has to become a person. And again, like I said, the reason that AI music has become so scary is because it's getting good enough that the industry now has a real argument for choosing it. Like, the listeners don't care. So why should we? But I also, if I'm being honest with you, I don't want this video to come across as I'm someone who is, like, you know, standing on the rooftop screaming, like, stop the future! Like, AI is here, right? It's been here for a while, and I truly don't believe that it's going anywhere. And I've seen a lot of conversation over the past couple of weeks of, like, you know, whether it's like a CEO or a celebrity or whatever saying, like, AI is here to stay, we have to get used to it. And then the pushback on that has been like, no, it is not. Stop saying that. You all want us to say that so we can invest in your AI companies or to promote your tech companies or whatever. And while I am not happy about this, I agree that I believe AI is here to stay. I think it is. And the reason that I think that is because AI is not just some, like, you know, program that the lower middle class are using to make their lives easier. AI is something that these massive, like, huge corporations are using to save money, lay people off, and make their processes cheaper and faster. And if we're being honest with ourselves, I think a lot more people use AI, even just like ChatGPTing a recipe or something, more than they want to admit. And I get why. Like, we have spent our entire lives being told, work smarter, not harder. And now we are given a tool that literally makes everything faster. Like, of course people are gonna use it. But I think that the topic gets a little darker when we're, you know, we transition from, you know, writing a quick response to an email in ChatGPT and using AI to make art that is monetizable. That is able to be monetized. Because art, at least it's not supposed to be just output, right? It's not the same as, like, formatting a spreadsheet. The whole purpose of art is that it carries something human. So then when AI enters the art creative space, then we start asking, like, are we using AI to support creativity, or are we using AI to avoid it? If you use AI to brainstorm, get ideas, like, hear what, you know, the possible production can sound like, I'm not crazy about it, but I get it. But using AI to create the entire emotional center of your creative work and then calling yourself an artist, that's where you lose me. I just think it's scary that we are speed running into a world where some people get tricked and they don't know what's AI and what's not, and then everyone else is just too tired or don't care enough to push back. So I don't think that every single person who uses AI is evil. Even if you use AI in your art, I would not call you a non-artist, right? I think there's just levels to this, and each situation is going to be different. But I do think that using AI in creative work needs limits, and it definitely needs disclosure. If you made a song and you used AI in the final product, whether it's the voice, the instrumentation, the production, whatever, like, I don't have a problem with that, but I do think that people deserve to know about it. Because I truly believe that people deserve the right to decide whether or not the inclusion of AI in creative work changes their relationship to that work. Because for me, it does, right? Like I've heard arrangements of songs that I thought were fantastic. Like there's a AI version of Ariana Grande's Seven Rings that's like a big band, you know, R&B-esque type of version of the song. And if I'm being honest with you, like it kind of eats. And I am not ashamed to say that I used that AI version of that song as like a vocal reference. Like I sat in my car one day, I was driving to like LA, I think, and I literally was playing certain riffs because I wanted to practice my vocal agility and my flexibility. And to me, like that is totally fine because I'm not putting that out as like my own art. I'm using it as a tool. Like I'm basically using it as like a reference to practice my human vocal ability. But when I follow an AI artist and like keep up with their like AI artistic journey and get invested in like their AI backstory, like what? Like no, because I know it's fake. And if I know that it's fake, I then cannot fully surrender to it. Part of why I love getting invested in like music and artists is it's the whole package. It's not just the voice and, you know, the artistry, but it's like it's the growth, it's the mistakes, it's like the overall vision, and it's their humanity being put on display. And an AI artist can imitate that, but it can't live any of it. So that's where I think my line is when it comes to AI music. Like use AI to brainstorm, you know, to find out what a song could potentially sound like, sure. But using AI to replace like artists, singers, producers, songwriters, and like pretending that it's the same, that doesn't give me like the future of creativity. Not even a little bit. That feels like our creativity is being hoarded, hollowed out, and then sold back to us. My parents loved that AI song. Like it genuinely meant or means so much to them. And I would never purposefully try to take that away from them. But as someone who's been making music and honing his craft for his entire life, like I can also not ignore the conflicting emotions that were stirred up in me. A lot of us spent our entire lives going to school, to college, being told that if you want to be an artist, you have to train, you have to practice, you have to suck and suck and suck and then keep going. Your goal is to get better. And now we live in a world where someone can type in a sentence and essentially get the same outcome. That doesn't mean the song itself is better than what a human could produce. And it doesn't mean that that AI is now an artist, but it does mean that the distance between effort and output has collapsed. And I don't think that we've all really caught up to exactly what that means for us yet. Music is proof that someone was here. Someone went through something, someone tried to change something, someone had something to say, and so they grabbed their instrument, they wrote their feelings down in a poetic way. The first draft was probably terrible, they fixed it over time, they then performed it, and they basically, they created a physical embodiment of themselves that we will be able to enjoy long after they're gone. And I just don't know that I'm yet ready to replace that process with a prompt. But as always, I'm just a gay with opinions. So I want to hear from you. Do you find that there is a difference between AI assisted music and like fully AI generated music? And the real question that I want your thoughts on in the comments below is, if a song makes someone feel something, does it really matter that no one felt anything when it was made? So let me know. I love you guys so much. As always, thanks for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next one.